It's the Longbox. All right, Tyler, but this is a special edition of the Longbox. Today,
Do you want one of these bags? What do you want?
nothing. You didn't give it to me in the time of the sounder. The sounder is crunch time. We all know this.
Literally crunch time.
Anyway, we're going to do something called, you can call it a guilty pleasure, although I don't, because I don't feel guilty for enjoying a movie. But these are going to be movies that we love that most people hate. And
Can you pause it for a second?
all right.
So, movies that we don't necessarily, that we love, that
But most people hate.
Mhm.
And I'll go first.
Not most people hate, but maybe just a lot of people don't know about.
Like critically and generally, people weren't really into it.
Sure.
We don't want to base all of our lives on Rotten Tomatoes.
Go.
I'm just saying, the example of this is to say how we all have different tastes, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I know that some people really don't enjoy Nacho Libre, but I fucking love Nacho Libre, all right?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's secretly... I don't want to say that it's secretly...
Brilliant!
But it kind of is, you know? I mean, you get Jack Black in there and you...
I got what I paid for.
No, in all seriousness, this movie is directed by Jared Hess, who also did Napoleon Dynamite.
Right.
I was talking to my wife about this because I mentioned this topic and I said this movie. She was absolutely. I think most people, generally, people were like, "This is a silly, stupid movie that they didn't." It was whatever,
Mm-hmm.
but I enjoy it.
Right.
Which is weird because Napoleon Dynamite had a lot of success, and it's very similar styles from Napoleon Dynamite to Nacho Libre.
Mm-hmm.
It's the minimalist, weird, sometimes like just gross, off-putting, weird humor, but somehow there's so much. It's hard to describe why I like Nacho Libre so much. Maybe just because of how unabashedly silly it is. Like it knows it's a comedy. It knows it's also aimed at a little bit of a younger audience too.
Sure.
So it isn't too like
Well,
vulgar or anything like that.
A great example to me is Clerks and Mallrats. I think there's a lot of people who saw Clerks, loved it, and then were like, "Awesome, Mallrats, let's go see that." And they were completely.
What's the follow-up?
But they were completely turned off by Mallrats. And why were we completely turned off by Mallrats? Because we expected, I don't know what we expected, but we didn't expect Mallrats. And we expected something. We put expectations on his thing, and we were like, fuck it, we're not going to, we want, how can I describe it? Because Mallrats is a great movie. But when I first watched it, I didn't like it. I was like, what is this shit? It was just, It seemed like not like.
Well, well, you and I were talking about it, and I think that like
people expected that of Nacho Libre after Napoleon Dynamite.
Yeah.
People put expectations on his follow-up no matter what it was going to be.
and I think that
And it's a good movie.
I enjoy it just because it's like
Gassy. What the fuck?
you and I talked about probably because you're eating the fucking popcorn.
Yeah,
all
maybe.
day.
A little bit.
Gosh.
Just put
Yeah,
pockets of air in my tummy.
thought we said we'd stop eating food on the
Oh,
air.
fuck me. Well, one more bite.
But I think that you could say a cheaper or poor man's Wes Anderson style of humor, where you're seeing that impact of what Wes Anderson had done and really carve out a new kind of genre in comedy, where it's this quirky, low budget, showcasing people that don't look a certain way, like when you watch. And I'm not saying that anybody's ugly by any means, but I'm saying like in Nacho Libre especially, you're not getting traditional like Hollywood actors to do this movie. You're basically getting Jack Black and a couple other actors, but it's mostly these extras that are probably, and I don't know if they shot in Mexico or not, but I imagine it was more of like local.
I like to think they did.
Why wouldn't they get like local Lucha Libre wrestlers to do it? Like, why wouldn't they? It would make so much sense because, and like that's like if you ever get a chance to watch Lucha Libre, watch it because that shit's entertaining. That's just so much fun, like pro wrestling.
One of my favorite pro wrestlers of all time is Rey Mysterio Jr.
That's how I know you watched him when he was in WCW because you called him Junior. It was just Rey Mysterio in the WWE. But And yeah, it does. It's a silly movie. It's a dumb movie. And my wife made a joke that it's such a formidable movie for me that I made it my personality, which is true because I got this movie on my birthday on DVD, not knowing if I'd really like it or not, and it ended up being a movie that I still watch sometimes to this day, which is just funny because and if you have criticism against this movie, I get it. I truly do, but I just liked that style of comedy, and I love it. I love that comedy has shown throughout the years how versatile it can be. Another example I would think of like that, like a quirky comedy that's dark and different, fucking Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Oh, way to take mine.
That's for a different week. But I'm not by any way comparing Nacho Libre to Eternal Sunshine.
No.
I'm just saying that's the example of variety in the genre. You know what I mean? Don't want anybody to confuse that.
Yeah, Eternal Sunshine is fucking bizarre. It's funny, it's heartbreaking, and bizarre.
You know what it will do?
I'll eat your ass.
It'll eat your ass. Sorry.
Off panel, off topic with Jake and Tyler.